The evidence is mounting tonight that an Iranian missile knocked a passenger airliner out of the sky this week near Tehran. Iran denies it, but the United States and several other governments say it is highly likely. Foreign Affairs correspondent Nick Schifrin begins with this report and a warning. Some of the scenes in this story could be disturbing to viewers.
There were no survivors, 176 lives lost, leaving behind only family photo scrapbooks, charred shoes, the remnants of a plane.
Groups in Iraq assisting with Assad's forces in Syria, helping Hezbollah in Lebanon, and all sorts of operations beyond as well.
For months before his death, tensions between the two countries have been heightening. The US has been increasing its military presence in the region and upping economic sanctions on Iran. That's in response to a series of attacks on US interests that the Americans believe Tehran is behind.
What the Americans are trying to do is quite simple. They are trying to restore the idea of deterrence to the Middle East and to remind the Iranians that every action has an equal and opposite and probably greater reaction. And that's why it really is in Iran's hands as to what happens next. And whether the regime itself will survive very much depends on how Iran chooses to tackle the next few weeks and months in the region.
So, if diplomacy fails...
Tensions are emerging over the air disaster in Iran that claimed the lives of 63 Canadians. Iran is rejecting Canadian and American claims that the jet was likely shot down by an Iranian anti-aircraft missile, something that now appears to be caught on camera. So you're going to have a look at these pictures. The missile is the light moving into the frame from the left. We're going to freeze it, and then you can see a flash. That is believed to be the impact. And then there's another light that seems to show the airliner being turned, and then it's gone. The video obtained by the New York Times is from a suburb of Tehran. It also captures the sound of an explosion.
Well, investigative journalists at Bellingcat have done some analysis on this video, and it seems to be a video that shows the moment the missile strikes the aircraft. So we'll roll the video and talk you through it. Now, it's coming in from a westward direction, left to right on your screen. You can't see the Ukrainian Airlines aircraft. It's just too dark, but it was climbing out of Tehran International Airport. And you'll see now the moment the two collide. There's then another object that you'll see spin off into the distance, probably the aircraft. We've seen other video of the aircraft on fire before it explodes on the ground. So, moving on with this analysis done by Bellingcat, we can also look at other elements in the video to pinpoint that it was taken in the suburb of Tehran, western Tehran, called Parand, which is close to the airport where the Ukrainian flight took off from. As you can see from the video, it's a residential area. The buildings and the lighting in the video there, round about here, match on satellite images this location in Tehran. Bellingcat has also worked out that the camera or the cameraman, when he takes this video, is facing northeast. Now, by measuring the time it takes from the explosion, from the moment that you see the explosion to the moment that you hear the explosion, about 10 seconds, they have worked out that it's approximately that aircraft 3.5 kilometres away from the camera. And that matches the flight trajectory that you can see on this next animation that you've got. This flight trajectory coming from, again, open source material like flight radar, for example. The aircraft, as we know, was flying from Tehran, the Iranian capital, to Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. It crashed just hours after Iran had fired more than 20 missiles at Iraqi bases with US, British and other coalition troops there. It was a state of real tension at that time.
So, Ali, where does this leave us in all of this?
Well, the investigation continues. Ukrainian investigators have arrived in Tehran, 45 of them, some of them with experience of the incident involving MH17 in Ukraine when that was shot down. The Iranians have said they've also invited US and Canadian investigators as well, but they categorically refute the idea that the aircraft was shot down, saying instead it was a technical error. we wait to see what the Americans are going to do. They might see this as an opportunity to restart diplomatic talks, to try and persuade the Iranians that on this occasion things have just gone far too far. So there is a sliver of optimism amongst what is quite clearly a very tragic incident.
OK, Alistair, thank you.